in the arms of the angel. Fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. Is that good? Okay.
Wow. Hi, Aim.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm great. We had such a fun week.
We
We
sure did.
launched our first two shows on YouTube. Very
They were
exciting.
awesome. It was great. I got such a great response from so many people saying how much they loved it and that they couldn't wait to watch the next ones. But I do want to thank all the people that watched, liked, subscribed, all that kind of thing. And I especially want to thank everybody that called in, our guests that told their stories and shared some of their most personal experiences. So thank you for that.
Yep, we thank you, and we hope you will please continue watching our shows and liking it. Spread the word. We're spending a lot of time. We're loving it, but we know it will be successful. And how do we know, Amy?
Because we're psychic.
Got it.
The next two shows I'm very excited about.
Oh, absolutely. We lost you there for a minute.
Sorry. That's when they start doing the technology. They start coming in.
Yep. So I just want to remind everybody that if you have any questions, if you want to be a guest on our show, or you have a great story, please get in touch with us by email, which is Amy to the second power at AOL.com. And the second is a 2ND for second.
In the email.
That's in the email.
Yes.
On our YouTube, as you know, the word is spelled out. So today's show is going to be, as I promised, about how I discovered my abilities. And by telling you, I hope that it will help any of you listeners who are interested in trying to improve your abilities or even get them, see if you even have them, the ability to tap in. Everyone has the ability, but some more than others. We also have an expert in meditation that's going to be one of our guest speakers. And if we have time, we will take a caller to talk about some of their stories, either some of their incredible readings with Amy, maybe some ghost stories, whatever it may be. Now, if that's not your cup of tea, because we know that not everyone is interested in learning how to be psychic, then want to tell you about our next show number 4, which it was Amy's wonderful idea. We're dedicating it to 9/11, and we are going to talk to some family members who Amy has done readings for about their loved ones who passed away on 9/11. We are going to tell some incredible stories that were not coincidental about people who shouldn't be here today, but for whatever reason did not go into the towers on 9/11. We're going to tell about some miracles, and there were just so many miracles on that day. I don't know about you, Aim, but it's still just raw, even.
It doesn't matter how many years.
Right. Yep. Anyway, incredible story about a blind man who led people out of the towers. It was so dark and smoky that no one could see, and this man used his what would you call it? Senses
Yeah, his other senses.
to get people out of the building. And lastly, Amy and I are going to work on trying to get some guest speakers from that were in the buildings when 9/11
Survivors.
survivors. If we can't get them for this show, then we are going to have a special show on 9/11 this year, and hopefully we can get them scheduled for that. So,
Amy, you mentioned in our first show that some kind of event happened that we didn't get to talk about on our last show that changed your life. It was something that opened you up maybe to the awareness or possibilities of this psychic ability, supernatural, paranormal. Can you tell that story? Because we didn't get to it last time.
Dying to tell that story. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I think I've mentioned several times that I was a skeptic prior to when I was about 50. And when I say I was a skeptic, I mean, my girlfriends would talk about it and I would like literally roll my eyes and be like, oh, please, that's just a bunch of BS. Anyway, so my grandmother was 101. She was very ill. I flew to Montgomery, Alabama to visit my grandma. And that night, I visited her at the hospital that night. I was sleeping at my aunt's house and I woke up at, I think it was 2:36. And I couldn't breathe. I opened my eyes and I saw a transparent body image of my grandmother right next to me on the bed. And I thought, oh God, the phone's gonna ring any second now. She's passed. I've heard stories like this. Well, we did find out later that she did stop breathing several times that night, but she survived that night. Anyway, so next morning I decided, well, I'm gonna stop by my cousin's house. I'm not gonna tell them what happened. They think I'm nuts already. They'll think I'm more crazy. So I'm saying goodbye to my cousin and I yawned. I said, oh, sorry, I didn't sleep last night. And my cousin goes, yeah, neither did I. She goes, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't breathe. And I thought Nan had died. So that was a turning point. I still remember the drive to the airport. I'm like, okay, I need to rethink everything I thought I knew. And so after that happened, it kind of piqued my interest, this whole supernatural thing. I had to accept the fact that I was wrong, which is not easy for me to accept.
Any of us.
And so I started kind of doing like just little fun little tests. Like I'd be driving and I'd be like, all right, Mom, send me a sign. You know, if this is really real, just send me a sign that you're up there. And then I would see like, the first thing that came to my mind was like horses, like a horse and buggy. I'd be, okay, Mom, horse and buggy. Next, it was the first thing I thought of. Next, send me a sign of a horse and buggy. Well, I swear, I think it was maybe 2 minutes later, I see a huge billboard, Wells Fargo, which I don't know if you know, they have the horse and buggy on there. So that I was having fun with that. So I was doing this, send me signs thing quite a bit. Another one that I thought this was incredible. My mother was not doing well. I'm going backwards, obviously, she was still alive at this time. And I got a call from an aide and the aide said, Amy, you better come here quickly. Got in my car and looked up into my grandmother and I said, okay, Nan, if this is Mom's time to go, it's okay, but just give me a sign that I know that she's with you and she's okay. Got to my mom's house. My mom was fine. She was, by the time I got there, forgot that I'd even asked my grandmother to send me a message. Got into my car, turned the key on, and the song Calling All You Angels started playing. And I don't know if you know, but the way it opens is it says, I need a sign, let me know you're near blah, 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 the angels, I don't know.
Do you want me to sing? Because I don't think you want me to sing it.
So anyway, so after that, I started kind of reading, listening to podcasts, talking to people, talking to you a little bit about the whole psychic thing. And I thought, it might be kind of fun. I'm getting signs. Maybe I'm supposed to do this. So what I would do is I would meditate. I'd be totally alone in my room, and I would meditate, and then I would think of whoever it is I wanted to get a sign for. So I would use my friends most of the time. So I think of my beautiful friend Kathy, and I'd say, okay, anyone up there have a sign for Kathy or a message, please, give it to me. I'd take out a piece of paper, and basically whatever came to my mind, whatever I thought, heard, saw, felt, whatever, I just wrote it all down. Then the next time I would go see my friend Kathy, I would say, oh, Kathy, is any of this right? And I was shocked at how much she was like, yes, that's true about my dad. Yes, that's where we used to vacation every summer. Anyway, I did that for years. And I think that is really how I developed my skill. So after practicing with friends, I was drunk at a party one night, and my girlfriend goes, Amy, just try doing it now. Don't write it down. Don't meditate. Just go ahead. Try to get my grandmother. And I was kind of surprised. I was actually fairly successful. And then that's the way I've been doing it from now on.
Liquid courage, I suppose, at the party. But they definitely do say that this is the perfect way to practice. But mine sort of just came, but I always tell people, always write things down. When you get messages, you don't know that they're messages. It might be from a dream. It might be one of these cool stories like you just described. Write it down, write the date. When you see signs, when you see a feather, you see a coin, you see a strange bird land on your car, write it down, write the date. But don't be aware of it is the first part of it. And play like you play as a kid. And before you go into Publix, or well, not everyone's from Publix, but you're the grocery shopping or whatever, say, I know I'm going to bump into this person, or I might see this person, and just play it. And just I'm thinking about this person's going to call me, and keep practicing.
Right. Definitely. And another good way to practice, there's a couple things that I do. Is there a website on Facebook? There's a group called Spirits. Probably should have pulled it up before I start talking about it. Spirits, Mediums, and Gifted, something to that effect. Anyway, people go on there and they post their picture and they say, can anyone give me a message? That's a really fun way to practice. They're strangers. Who cares if you're wrong, if you get everything wrong? But a good way to practice. The number one thing that you have to do is you have to not listen to your own brain, not listen to your own thoughts. That's the hardest part. That's the main part. Am I right, Aim? Do you agree?
I agree. I think that we have to get that left brain, that part of the brain, that's the creative side, is where we should stay. But we always have that right side brain, the logic, the critical thinking. And when that pops in, you start analyzing. So immediately when I get a thought, even if it makes absolutely no sense to me, I write it down, or I will tell the person, because it might be the message that is the perfect thing for them, that they know about this. But to me, it might mean nothing. So nothing is out of, even if you think it's crazy, it's not out of the realm of saying, oh, carousel horses, oh, elephant walking, whatever it might be, that might be really important to them. And you think it might be crazy, or a song that is not even from our genre or theirs. So once the critical brain starts popping in, then you start analyzing. So don't analyze.
Because I used to not give messages I would hear, because I would say, oh, I know that's not right. I know my friend has never gone to Aruba or think about going to Aruba. So I wouldn't even write it down. Like, no, it's a. And then sometimes I would just say it, and it was usually spot on. And in the same respect, Amy, as far as our listeners trying to channel their loved ones, the same goes for seeing ghosts and hearing spirits or whatever it may be. I remember one time I was sitting on the couch. It was 5 o'clock. It wasn't even nighttime. I'm watching TV, and I looked to the left, and I saw a ghost. I saw a woman. I still remember what she looked like. She was very pretty. She had long, dark hair, very thin. She did have the whole see-through veil kind of flowy stuff going on. My brain must have just like dismissed it, because you would think that I would have jumped up and been like, oh my God, telling my husband, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. About 3 weeks later, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV again, and I looked to the hallway where I saw the woman. I said, oh my God, I just remembered 3 weeks ago what I saw. So I think my rational brain said, you didn't see what you think you saw.
Exactly.
So that's really what it's all about, is right, getting out of your rational.
Being open to it. Clairvoyance would be seeing. So if we're talking about just the seeing part, I might see spirit look like that kind of shadowy type of look, white, maybe spinning vortex, because they're very fast. I might see it looks like a heat wave kind of look. It might look like little lights or big lights or things like that. But I've actually seen in my mind's eye what people look like, and in person, like I'm seeing you right now. And that's a few times when that's happened, and it was a actual real life person, angel, spirit. I didn't necessarily know that at the first moment, because I don't think they wanted me to know at the first moment.
Okay, we are here with one of my favorite people, Kim, who I've known. She was 3, I was 4 when we first met, and we both were wearing Try It, You'll Like It t-shirts. Do you remember that? That was Coke, right? Or Pepsi, I don't know. Pepsi. Anyway, Kim has her master's in contemplative psychology, whatever that is, from Naropa University. She is authorized as an Ashtanga yoga teacher. I said it right? Teaching yoga, meditation internationally for over 25 years. She's an author of 2 books about meditation, meditative practice, and offers free guided meditations on her website, Kim Roberts, KIMROBERTS.co. Beautiful friend Kim on the show is because I had just been talking about how important it is to meditate in order to clear your mind, so that you can allow the messages to come in. So Kim, being highly experienced in meditation, will teach you a little bit about what she's learned, and she will teach you a meditation technique. So take it away, Kim.
Great, thanks. Thanks so much for having me here. I actually love sharing meditation because it's been such a huge influence in my life in so many ways. It's, as you mentioned, for your purposes, it's one of the best ways to just make yourself available to messages that are arising in the moment, not only on the, the very obvious plane, like watch out, there's a car that it's about to hit you, but also in terms of, more unseen world experiences. And the further I have gone in my own meditative path, the more those types of experiences make themselves available. And a lot of people are intimidated when they hear the word meditation, because, probably 95% of the time when I'm talking with someone who I don't know, who I've just met, and I mention meditation, like 95% of the time they're like, oh yeah, I can never meditate because I can't stop thinking. And I'm like, well, neither can I. And good
Neither
luck.
can we. Right, Amy?
Yeah, and it's not the point. So the point of meditation is I just want to like abolish that, urban myth that meditation is not about stopping thinking, but it's about becoming aware when you are thinking so that you're not carried off on this, train ride, it doesn't hijack you.
Hmm.
And so
I would think with cell phones and all the technology today, our
yeah,
brains don't really have a break. I'm guilty. I check my phone right before I go to bed at night. So
yeah,
I'm guilty of stopping to think about all the things I have to do, grocery shopping, the bills. If you had a fight with someone, if what's happening tomorrow, the brain just keeps going.
yes.
yes,
And
yes.
we don't call it ADD, right? It's not attention deficit disorder. It's attention surplus. So we have this extra thing that even more so stops us.
Exactly. And a friend actually renamed these things, all the computers and the technology, weapons of mass distraction.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, it gets harder and harder. We in the the developed world, with all of these amenities at our disposal, we are at greatest risk for having difficulty being present with the simplicity that is our state of mind, which is with us all the time, but it's overlaid by not only the traffic and the jab that our mother said to us when we were 4 that just got triggered by our best friend, or whatever. We also have all of the all the weapons of mass distraction now as well. And so it's like harder and harder. And you can imagine, like, the places where meditation developed as a part of the culture, in India and the Himalayan region, you can imagine like growing up in, in a hut with, your day job being herding yaks. Like that's a much different way to develop a meditation, a lifestyle that supports meditation practice than if you're driving on the highway with road rage around you every day.
I have
And
a couple yaks in our backyard.
then good for you.
Traffic is a
And so, but so yeah, and so that it's like we want to sort of not to say that we need to become yak herders, but maybe we
kids
could
count
develop.
as that.
Say it again.
Kids count
Well,
as
yeah, yeah, it could be. But it's sort of about developing that mentality of like, you're on a hill, you're watching your yaks, and oh yeah, one's going to walk the couple feet that way. It's like, okay, no big deal. Rather than, oh my God, my phone is ringing. And it's like we have this overreaction to like every little thing that happens in our world and in our minds. And if you watch yourself in your interactions with people, and you can watch this in other people too. It's quite entertaining once you start getting the gist of it. You can watch people react to things, and you can start to check yourself and identify, as you're going through your day. And I'll give you a technique that will, show you how to develop this ability. But it's like, you go through your day and you're like, oh yeah, that person just, cut me off, and I feel this anger rising, and I'm pissed off, and I want to like pull out a finger, guess which one? And it's like, okay, so instead of actually doing that, which many people will just, it's so quick, they can't stop themselves from doing it, and they do it. You can develop what's called like a delayed response. It's a like you delay the response time, and in that moment of recognition of the thing that's arising and the action, there's this moment where you can recognize your awareness, pure and simple, without having anything to do. And it can be an uncomfortable place if you're really feeling like you want to flip somebody off. It's an uncomfortable place to stay in, but that's what the meditation practice does. That's why they call it a practice. We practice resting in that spacious state of mind that is non-reactive, which
how
is,
long do you have to do it? I mean, can you do it for 1 minute, or does it have to be at least 10 minutes?
yeah, fantastic question. There's no minimum. I mean, It's actually a really good question. I would say shorter periods more frequently is much better than one long period at the end of a week or the end of a day. So 1 minute meditations, I'm a huge fan. I love 1 minute meditations. And in fact, one of my Buddhist teachers, when teaching the highest meditations, he recommends 30-second meditations and then drop it and then come back again 30 seconds, because it's really hard when we're talking like high quality awareness and presence. That is hard to maintain for anyone, even yak herders. And so to be able to start doing that, you do it in short doses. Like if you want to run a marathon, you wouldn't automatically just like go run 26 miles at the weekend. You would start running a mile every morning.
Mhm.
So it's like that.
Kim, has it been like somehow scientifically proven that meditation helps you physically and emotionally?
Yes, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that because they have been doing, they're particularly in University of Wisconsin, Madison, they have a team of neuroscientists there that have been working very closely with Tibetan Buddhist meditators, and they do the whole, encephalograph, I think it's called. And they monitor brain waves in highly trained meditators, and it's astonishing. I mean, brain waves can actually settle to such a degree that they thought there was something wrong with their machinery with this
Wow.
one particular meditator, because it was like there was no activity. He was in such a deep state. It was like
Wow.
delta sleep, or and I don't know all the neurological lingo, but it was so surprising to them. They didn't think it was possible. So it definitely does have an effect on the brain.
And I
And
think probably blood pressure and
yeah, and hence the nervous system. Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Would you like to tell our audience how to
Yeah.
do how to meditate so they can try to connect
Sure.
with the other side?
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. So, I'll do the 30-second version, and I'll front load it a bit with some detail. But really, this doesn't have to be a long drawn out process. It can be super quick, super easy, and and there's nothing that we're trying to do. I just want to like say that at the outset. There's no right or wrong way to do this. We are the goal of the practice, if there is one, is to observe our experience. So whatever arises, that's what we observe, and that's what we're working with. So I think just to sort of take a bit of that intimidation out of it, um, can be, yeah, because it can be a bit intimidating when you're beginning it.
Okay.
So basically, we're working with three aspects: body, breath, and mind. And the first piece is to just find yourself in a posture where your spine is straight,
Mhm.
your shoulders are relaxed, and you feel a sense of connection with the earth. And if you can, or the earth, the earth element. So sitting and feeling that sort of grounding underneath you. Feel a sense of grounding. And you can do this sitting on a cushion on the floor, or you can do it on a chair, or you can do it lying down. Only thing with lying down is just make sure you're being honest with yourself about staying alert, because it can be easy to fall asleep. It's relaxing.
Do you close your eyes, or does it matter if you close your eyes or open your eyes?
Great
I've
question.
done both.
Yes, and I do too. In the tradition, there are all sorts of different instructions on this according to different traditions. In the tradition I learned, we always started with our eyes open. And that was because it is a reminder that we're trying to stay present and alert. We're not checking out into like la la land or some other, better place. We're actually trying to practice being present, and keeping the eyes open helps that. That said, I often find, especially if I'm meditating at night, my mind is so busy from the day, or if I'm in a community sitting situation, there are other people around, and I get distracted by the other people. I will often start with my eyes closed, because it helps me settle in, get quiet, go inside. And then once I feel settled, then I'll open my eyes. Find a posture that you can tolerate for a few minutes or a minute. Then we just simply bring the awareness to the breath, and we follow the breath out, and we follow the breath in with our awareness. And you just observe. You don't have to do anything particular with the breath. Just breathe normally, naturally. But we're just observing the breath with our awareness. And this might feel like a quick step in the process because you'll immediately notice that the mind wants to get involved, and the mind has thoughts and judgments and criticisms and ideas. And oh, is that breathing? What is that breathing? Am I breathing too shallow? Should I be breathing differently? Am I doing this right? What am I doing? You know, your mind will all of a sudden start offering its opinions about the whole thing. And then if you sit long enough, it'll go back to what happened yesterday. And if you sit really long enough, it'll go back to what happened to when you were 4, and how dare she say that? And it'll get into all sorts of
I'm still mad at you about what you said to me when we were 4.
I think she's trying to tell you something.
Exactly. Yeah. So the task at that point, should you choose to accept it, is to recognize those thoughts and just allow them to have the stage for a moment. Say, I see you, thought, and then to invite it to depart with the breath. And here's a little trick that I do sometimes. I actually imagine like the thought is a body surfer and the breath is a wave, and the thought body surfs the breath out into the shore, which is just the space around you, and it dissolves into the space around you.
I've started using meditation to actually help me go to sleep. And I'm
Oh.
laying in bed and I can't turn my brain off.
Mhm.
And it really helps
Yeah.
concentrating my breath.
Yeah. And there's a new thing that I've just been into for about a year now. Actually, with the pandemic, I got involved in this. There's a thing called Yoga Nidra. I don't know if either of you have heard about this. Oh my gosh, highly recommend checking it out. I've been offering it free every Saturday morning to a group of people. So I don't know if anyone's interested, you can just get in touch with me and join me. It's on Zoom. And it's a lying down body-based meditation. And the reason I thought of it is because it's really good to help you go to sleep. But it's also really good to gently guide you into that meditative state of mind without it's just a bit more of a gentle way to enter into it.
So our listeners should go to kimroberts.co to learn a little more about that, right?
Yeah. It's under the events tab. It's called Journaling and Journeying. And we do a little guided meditation, and then I do a journaling, we write together.
That's important.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Kim. We really appreciate invaluable information.
Thank you.
And
I'm definitely going to check it out.
She has so much, Amy. Kim, you want to just mention a few of the places you've traveled around the world?
Sure. Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about them all this morning because I'm craving to go again, like get out of the country a bit.
You will. Take it from a psychic.
Yeah. Well, I was living in Thailand for 5 years before I moved back recently. And in Bhutan and India and Nepal and Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, I worked for a couple of years. And
wow. Is it better to use music or not use music? And is it just something personal? I feel like I always have to use some sort of music. And then when I use it as a ritual, I find that sometimes, even when I'm not meditating, I might just be putting on makeup or walking. As soon as I listen to that same song or that same meditation music, it puts me in that Zen place, so to speak. So for me, music helps a lot, but it's got to be my music. Somebody might have a different kind that works for them.
Yeah, that's a great question, because this is something I've been exploring recently too. When I learned meditation, it was absolutely no music. And on the retreats we used to do that were very, sometimes up to 3 months, we would have no music, no nothing, no books, no phone calls, no talking. And because we were really just trying to get rid of external distraction, and that has its place. And I recommend that at times. Recently, especially with the Yoga Nidra, there, um, I've actually been doing this with people, guiding with background music. And also, Amy, you were talking about using a technique to go to sleep. One of the things that I've been exploring recently is Hertz music. And there's all this scientific study that has recognized different vibrational sounds as being resonant with, alpha, gamma, delta, like the different brainwave functions. And if you can match, so they have like music for sleep. It's called Hertz music. I forget the number Hertz, but if you just Google Hertz music, you can find it. And it
I'm
actually,
sorry, Kim, is that HERTZ?
yeah, exactly.
That would be
It's
nice.
interesting, as mediums, psychic mediums, I always tell people that when I meditate before each reading, and I also show it to my clients, I'm raising my frequency when I do that. And the other side has such a high frequency, the spirit on the other side, they actually have to lower their frequency. And we meet in the middle, hence medium. And that's where we kind of are in that place. Maybe it is a sacred place, but wherever it is, it's got to be somewhere meeting in the middle, which is interesting.
Yeah. And I don't want to take too much of your, if you have to end, but I'm kind of curious, both of you, like, how does your meditation differ, or, how is it similar to what I shared?
Oh, Amy and I? Oh, that's a good question.
Amy, you want to start?
You want me to start? Okay.
Sure.
Well, what I do when I meditate is I pay attention to my breaths, my breathing. Then I relax everything. I start with my eyebrows, my forehead gets relaxed. I go all the way down my body, try to relax everything. Then I go to my happy place, which is different places. Sometimes I go back to where I grew up in Maryland when my mom was alive and cooking in the kitchen, and it was great times. But when I go to my happy place, I have another place in Zion Park, Utah. Utah. Anyway, but I go through details. So I pull up in my car, get my keys, I shut the door, I walk up the steps that I walked up 1,000 times when I was a child. I open the screen door, put the key in. So that's how I do it.
Interesting. I think it doesn't matter how people do it. It's how it works for them best. I like the music part mostly. If I don't have the music, it's fine also. I light my candle. It's almost like saying, okay, it's time. There are crystals around that kind of helps me because I just feel the energy, and I just feel like it also is like one of those awareness. Now it's time to meditate. Then I sit exactly how you were describing it. I put my palms out. I take 3 deep breaths. I first go to my feet, and I imagine, and this is how I tell people to do it as well, how I do it, that there's almost branches coming out of my feet going deep into the ground, because I always want to ground myself first, especially before readings. And then I go from there to the top of my head, my crown chakra, and I do the same thing, but I'm bringing light. I visualize light going through each part of my body. And I bring that beautiful white light down through my head, and I visualize it going down straight through my body. And I even, in my head, without saying it out loud, even go through each of the colors of the chakra, which those colors also is like white light. But that light goes through each part, fills my body, and releases the negative energy out my fingertips. And I visualize it going down through my feet and those branches and burning up any negative energy. And I'm kind of left with that just beautiful white light within me. So, and then there's the breath. I do have the breath in there, but it doesn't mean I can't hear something, someone could walk in and slam a door, wouldn't make me so happy, but it doesn't mean that I can't just continue right from that. It doesn't take very long. And I'll take that white light even and wrap it around myself as a protection. I think of my guides and angels to, inviting them to be around me for protection, for love, for guidance. And it's really that simple. And it takes probably not more than 30 seconds. I try to do 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If I'm lucky, I'll get 15 or 20 minutes. But as long as I do that, it's amazing. I feel tingling in my hands. I have an entire change throughout my body. I feel my shoulders just drop. Everything just is much more relaxed.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, that was a nice show today.
It was great. Thank you, all of our guests. Tune in next time. The show is going to be dedicated to 9/11 survivors and, unfortunately, the ones that have passed, the victims. Keep on liking and subscribing, and we are going to keep on doing incredible shows for you. So join us next time. We can't wait.
Yep.
Amy to the second power, right?
Going.
Don't forget, be open, expecting, accepting, and trusting. And then go out there and practice. Okay?
Thanks, Aim.
Have a great week.
Thanks, Aim. You too.
Bye.